Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, across the country and around the world. We'd like to welcome you to our show, On Point Opinions. I'm Bobby Kinzer,
And I'm Juan Holcomb.
and we On Point Opinions, the show to discuss the hot topics of today, both national and global. We just tired, Juan and myself are just tired of fake news, and we want to get a lot of the information out because we realize information is power, and people only know what they know, right, Juan?
That's if you don't give information out, somebody else will fill it with crazy stuff. And we've got loads of that going on right now, Bob.
I mean, it's just we inundated. I mean, thank God for the information highway.
Mhm.
It's great, but it's also a curse in itself because a lot of people just think because it's out there on the internet that is valid and relevant information, but it's not. So you got to make sure you vet the information, and now you have two vetters, both Juan and myself. But notice, this is just our opinions,
Mhm.
and we try to provide facts, but we give you our opinion on the facts. But remember, we're trying to use facts here,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we're just giving you our opinion. So
Mhm.
do not hold that against us. So starting with that particular position, Juan,
Mhm.
there's so much going on in the world today, man. Good gracious.
It seems like since uh, when we end one show, before we can get back, there's so much going on. Um, you can't even put everything in it. We have to narrow it down. Uh, but we try to hit what we feel are the most current. But uh, uh, there's so much happening, Bob, all at the same time. Uh, it's almost crazy. You know, so I think it's good though that we can come on here and discuss the facts because we hear people talk, and that's what we've said from the beginning.
Yeah, but we notice that a lot of people put a lot of, first of all, misinformation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
A lot of times we just lack information, but there's a lot of misinformation that's going around. So, let's start our show off today with, let's start with the hottest topic at the top, Juan. What do you think? Do you think ex-President Trump will get indicted?
Whew. It's been so long coming. Um, I'll start off like this, Bob. Let me do this. Full disclaimer. I hope so. I think it's imperative. I heard a lot of things say what will happen, constitutionally if you indict a former president. Um, what will it make them do? What will happen if he gets in? And I say to all of that, he's going to do it anyway. He's already doing what he's doing. Trump will do. So that's crazy. What should be asking is what will happen if you don't make him accountable for the things that are going on. But with that being said, I wasn't sure that it ever would happen. I'm more confident now that DOJ uh, seems to be picking up the pace, and they're looking at things that um, I thought, hey, it was stone silence, which is the way they're supposed to work. But I was really moved that DOJ was looking into cases and starting to um, have people come in, subpoenaing. Uh, uh, I think it was Cipollone, one of Trump's top attorneys, and I think that Bob, really, the January 6 hearings have had the impact that they were intended to do, because I've heard many people say they really have an audience of one, two. Well, of course, the American people, um, but also Merrick Garland. But I had my doubts, Bob, uh, about Merrick Garland. What do you think?
I think he's going to get indicted. Come on. Some of the information that they got is just they got him on tape, they got him on film, they got him on audio, and then and this how they go. I think they got more stuff that we just don't know about.
Right, right, right.
I think there's so much more that they hold it back, and there are more and more people coming forward.
They're coming out of the woodwork now, aren't they?
Yeah, and then I thought Attorney General Garland, I thought he was being soft, but he's laying low, like he's in the grassy knoll. Like he kind of surprised me. I thought he was being passive.
Mm-hmm.
But it appears that I think he's lining up because they starting to now use some of the information from the January 6th. But
Absolutely.
I think Trump is. I think at least I don't think he's going to be able to run.
You think it could influence like that?
Yeah, I would love to see him put him on stand because they never let him testify because they know that mug will say anything, and within 1 minute he'll probably perjure his own self. So they probably don't want him to get up on the stand.
Well, many people say that Bob, he's really going to run because he wants to stay out of the crosshairs of Letitia James and the young lady, the district attorney in Georgia, because they have some key evidence on him. And he's really trying to kind of dodge that bullet, excuse the pun, as well. But Merrick Garland surprising me. I will say that I wasn't sure about him. I talked about him as well, Bob. But I think you may be right. I think he is picking up the pace in it. And to that point, Bob, thinking he's indicted, do you think that Trump still has the full sway and power over the GOP?
Well, yeah, over the GOP that's ignorant and power hungry, because I think they sort of split into fractions. I think you got, the Pence Republicans. I think you got the Trump Republicans. I think you got the traditional conservative Republicans like Liz Cheney. But I think he has that wing of those ones that are power hungry and just straight right up racist and ignorant. But Juan, got a comment from my god sister Coletta. She said, "Do you think individuals are coming forward in order to cut a deal for themselves?"
Ooh, she's spot on. Yeah, I think now they are trying to cover their bases. Once that young lady came out from the Biden administration, I think that put all bets off. I think that they will try to work something out. And what do they call it in the thing? Flipping to a degree.
Oh, yeah.
On Trump, he doesn't have the sway. They say Trump is still calling witnesses and telling them just, like you say, when he does it in the open, it almost is like, can you get him on that? But that she makes a good point.
And see, when the DOJ starts coming on your butt, now this becomes criminal charges. See, the Congress can't indict nobody, but now when you're getting up there, you can perjure yourself. And I think who's going to me is going to be the biggest canary singing. Wait until they're gonna back Giuliani up, and they're gonna make him. He gonna sing because he's such a pony. He gonna start singing like a bird. Watch when they back him up. They took his law license, right?
Right.
Yeah, he gonna start singing like a canary.
Well, he is a true walking caricature of himself. He's like a Saturday Night Live sketch, all in one. But sadly, dangerous. They feel that some of these people feel that there is no boundaries for them, and that's a frightening thing. That's why I think, as we were saying before, you have to indict, because things are still moving forward. Things are still going on, Bob, as it's happening. You know, the coup is still moving forward. The trying to, you know, overtake elections, trying to make it not even point to vote. All of that is going on now. So I think that I'm just wondering, will they run out of time? What do we have,
Well,
less than 100 days until?
but look what goes with that, Juan.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that, but look, a bunch of them are starting to backtrack. A bunch of them are starting to separate themselves. How about Rupert Murdoch, who
Mm-hmm.
owns Fox, Wall Street Journal,
Mm-hmm.
came out and sort of denounced them, and the people at Fox got a little bit mad. But what can they say when the daggone owner called him out, Dick Cheney?
They seem to be gossiping. Yeah, the Vice President Dick Cheney.
So times are changing, man. These people
They
are
are.
like separating themselves for I don't know. And then we're going to talk about it when we get up to the Biden update. There's a lot of things changing with the Democratic Party that's going in their favor.
True, and we're coming to that. Is the GOP a party? Still a real party?
I don't. You know, Juan, that's a good question. We're going to let's put that question out to our audience tonight, this evening. Is there still a GOP party, or is it really the party of Trump? I think it's the party of Trump. I don't even think they really have a true Republican Party anymore. But what do y'all think?
Mm-hmm. What do you all think? Absolutely, because I agree with you. I think Trump still has a sway, although he has some contenders. How the Pence, who they said hang Mike Pence. Did not hear that the January 6th insurrection or coup, that they said hang Mike Pence, and they bought a handmade gallows to the place for him.
Yeah.
And
you know, Pence didn't get in that presidential car either. He's like, oh, I seen this before. I saw what happened to Princess Di. I ain't getting in that car.
Right. And we're going to address some of that stuff. It's going to come into some of the things we're talking about. But that's the thing, Bob. And I think the ghosting of him by Fox is interesting. As you said, the GOP is kind of fragmenting, and to a degree, because they know how to run lockstep, but also after that CPAC.
Oh God! Oh,
after that CPAC circus. I mean, conference, whatever that.
The CPAC midterm conference, which is the big Republican conference every year, and it was in Dallas, Texas.
Only appropriate.
Right. And demos looked like they were cuckoo. They had the damn prime minister for Hungary, who was a straight up authoritarian racist, and they were cheering and standing up and clapping for this dude, man. And then what about what you told me, Juan? All of us attending there. 161 Black African Americans are running as Republicans.
Running,
different things. 161
nominees, right?
But you know what's up with that, though, Juan? Because I remember with Michael Steele, one of the things they said years ago, Michael Steele was a Democrat. I think he was even in, somebody told me, in Marion Barry's administration. But word was, I don't know if this is true, that he went over to the Republican Party because he said there's no competition. And if you look at it, for most Black men or women, but especially Black males, they go to the Republican Party, there's no competition, and they get paid.
Very opportunistic. Very opportunistic. I agree with that. I think there's a there. I think there's something right. They're looking for that that opportunity. And but I still can't understand how you run for a party that really is oppressing your people. But
some people say the Democrats are too.
Right. And that's an argument that I don't know if we can get it in on that show, but I hear that a lot too, Bob. But um, uh, I think that you have to figure out who's doing what. I have enough sense to see who I can go the furthest with. Of
Yeah,
course,
I mean,
that we don't
look
have
at the
to
Republican
right.
Party, though. I mean, look
Hmm.
at them. They're anti-abortion, they're anti-women, they're
Everything.
anti-immigrants, they're
Right.
anti-black people. And what about how the Latinos are starting to grow in becoming Republicans?
Hmm.
And these boys can't stand. At least I didn't think they would, but
Hmm.
I understand where the Hispanics are coming from. If you had a choice of which race would you want to go with, Black Americans who've been suppressed and redlined and
And still.
discriminated against,
Mhm.
and you have a choice of going with the white race. I
Mhm.
kind of don't blame them. I think what choice you would make every time.
Right. That's true, Bob. But I mean, inviting Viktor Orban from Hungary to speak at a conference and the things he espoused, um, they're extremely disturbing too. That was a disturbing conference for sure,
But
Bob.
one,
So, mhm.
but remember this: when we see things like that, it's always the opposite. Like Orban came because he's actually losing traction from Europe. And
Mhm.
so he's running here trying to get support from us. So what I'm saying is this is my opinion on the Republican Party is that they're see that they're losing power. They see that they're not even going to be able to win electoral races anymore. So
Correct.
they are trying to steal it, um, put up barriers, preventing people from voting to win that way, inviting people like Orban. That's actually what looks to some people like it's a power play, but actually it's a weak play. They reaching for straws. That's how desperate they are when they have clowns like Orban come to
Mhm.
speak
Mhm.
at the CPAC. They're going to vote against the daggone veterans bill just because the Democrats were getting a lot of wins.
That came
So
back to
I mean,
bite them.
they
That came
desperate.
back to
That's
bite them.
what's really showing why.
Yes, it really
It's
is.
that not that they are trying to get power or they getting power, but and they might be trying. They might be in some places like Indiana, those red states.
Mhm.
But it's really a display of desperate that they trying. That's what the whole abortion thing is about. Juan, come
Mhm.
on.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Right.
think white Americans had a zero birth rate. Everyone born, one's dying, and they know that their numbers are declining.
Mhm.
That's why they're trying to get the Latino votes and the
Well,
Asian votes. At least that's
it,
my opinion.
well, I think you're on to something, but to be to try to wear the mantra of personal freedoms, they're the party of personal liberation and freedoms, as they want to tell you what you can read, uh, whether or not you can have children, what you want to call yourself, what you uh, where you want to go. They they are literally and then say that they are the party of personal freedom. But so it's ridiculous hypocrisy. But
So with that, Juan, let's get into our next topic. The next topic is what's going on in Washington with the Secret Service deleting all the texts, and not only the Secret Service, but the Pentagon has a bunch of texts. And now, is that a coincidence or what? All of a sudden, texts are starting to disappear.
well, to quote the uh, um, military guy Malcolm Nance, he says uh,
He's not
coincidences.
military, he's CIA, isn't he? He's former
Foreign
CIA.
national security, former
Okay.
military. He's done it all
Okay.
with them, and he's written some good books. But He says coincidences take lots of planning. Big coincidences take lots of planning, and I think that sums it up. Come on, Bob. Come on. And I hear people being very careful with it, but Secret Service, Homeland Security, Pentagon now, and more is coming out. And the IG delivered this information just recently, and they've had this going on for quite a while. I think it is a cover-up. I think it's egregious, and I think heads should roll. I mean, Bob, the IG, many people are calling for Biden to get rid of the IG, and I know that they don't like to get rid of IGs, but the IG, for those of you not federal folks, inspector generals, but the IGs are
the in-house watchdogs, basically.
Right. In-house watchdog, and he's the holdover from the Trump administration. That's one of Trump's guys.
Right.
Just like the post office, still there's quite a few Trump people still in office, but I know they're reluctant to get rid of IGs to make it look as if they are not being what's the word, Bob, when you partisan. So that I think they need to get rid of the IG. They need to call all of these people in and subpoena them. And come on, Bob, how do they even say if you leave someplace and you turn your phone over, they scrub them, you still have you've made the cloud, they have backup clouds.
Yeah. Hey, Juan, before you go any further, I want to remind people who are just coming on that coming in the middle of our conversation, because we got people joining in the middle. This is On Point Opinions. This is our monthly show that's on every first Sunday of the month at 6 p.m. And we're discussing all the main topics. And the topics we're on right now is the Secret Service texts that were missing, and now the Pentagon texts that were missing. For some of y'all who don't know all about what those were, a lot of them went missing, especially the January the 6th text. That's what's so ironic.
5th and 6th, right?
5th and 6th. And what the people don't know, a lot of people don't know about the Pentagon texts, where one of the first calls to the Pentagon for military help, the general who picked the call up, I forgot how many star general he is, who picked the call up for the help, which didn't send any help, was Michael Flynn's brother, General Flynn. So I'd like to know, because we didn't hear no more about that, but so a lot more stuff is getting ready to come out, Juan. I mean, I think there's going to be so much that's piling up in the end. It's not only Trump who's going to get indicted, but there's going to be a bunch of other people indicted.
Well, I just hope time-wise they can keep this going, because as you said about Secret Service, Homeland Security, Pentagon, the White House call logs went missing. There's no way that all of these things can happen at the same time for the same information through these people. Just, they happen to, we're doing the whole restart, or they scrub the whole thing.
Yeah, they got a new system they've been put in place, for the phones or something. Stop it. Something they're gonna fool us. That's my statement.
And Bob, I've worked in government, federal. My father spent career in federal work. You are in the government arena, and you know that everything is kept. You can't get rid of anything, man. Everything is kept, and that is, quote unquote, you breaking the law. You're supposed to keep all those records, and they know that. And so I do think that they need to really get to the bottom of it. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that they did it. They did it intentionally, and that goes back to something you said about earlier about Pence, and that he didn't want to get in that car. Well, these are the same Secret Service people. Those are the same talking points that they went between themselves. That all of that information
Well,
should be available.
speaking about text, well, what about the guy, Alex, what's his name, with
Alex Jones. Yeah.
Alex Jones, who
Yeah, man,
got
talk about him.
just lost that suit against the Sandy Hook, is that the right name?
Yeah, give a little background right on that about Sandy Hook Elementary School.
Well, speaking about text, isn't it ironic that his attorneys, they said, made a mistake and sent a bunch of texts
Sent his
from
whole
January
phone.
6th.
Sent his whole phone record.
Sent his whole phone record. Here we can't, we got other ones deleting stuff. We got other ones. His attorneys mistakenly sending all of the texts from January 6th on Alex Jones, who's going to get fined for lying about the daggone kids. How insensitive can you be? But I mean, that's the world we live in. But look, they say things in the dark comes into the light.
Yeah. But I'm wondering, Bob. Now this is my conspiracy side. Do you think those attorneys could have sent that intentionally?
Oh, I believe they did too.
Yeah,
I think Alex is like Trump. He wasn't going to pay him. Trump didn't pay a lot of people, a lot of attorneys.
Bob, talk about how somebody makes that kind of money. They said at one time he was making $800,000 a day, peddling the filth that he does, and the conspiracy thing that they awarded the first award, compensatory. Am I saying it right? Or the second one's no, one's punitive, one's compensatory. Was 4.1 million. They say he made that in a week.
Right.
So I mean.
But they hit him for 45 million on the
and punitive, right?
Yeah.
And he, of course, he has everything in bankruptcy. But there's a lot of people. They say his ex-wife is waiting at the door. They're like, boom, he's getting ready to get hit with a bunch of other stuff. So that's good enough for them.
Yeah, that's what he get. You weak with yourself.
I mean, how can you say though? I mean, people. My sister says this is a special place in hell for these folks, man. But that's crazy, man. And that's the danger of some of this social media piece. But the stuff that he peddles and makes money off of it. The ultimate grifters.
But that seems to be the play nowadays. That's the Trump card. That's the DeSantis card.
That's the blunt, right?
It's the girl Taylor Green. That's her. That's the chick who's running for governor in Arizona that won the GOP.
Right.
That's that whole game they playing, man.
They said so many people, Bob. So many of the candidates running, and I have a question for you, Bob, on that. So many of the candidates running were election deniers. And what does that mean going forward for our elections with so many running? But some people were questioning the Democrats, what do you call it? Angles or moves on supporting some of these, what they call candidates, these Trump-backed candidates that are considered quote unquote crazy.
So you know what it comes down to, Juan? It comes down to the blue states versus the red states. And isn't it ironic when you look at the map versus blue states versus red states? All the blue states are on the West Coast, the East Coast, and all the red states are in the middle and in the South.
In the South. Mm-hmm.
And so they're saying that the big divide right now between the red states and blue states, I thought it was more in favor of red states, but actually it said the Trump party strategy is trying to take us back, not to the 1950s, but to the 1850s. And they even citing certain things from 1850, right? Where the minority ruled by states. And that's what the whole Civil War is about, right?
Right.
The Confederate states wanted to do their own thing, forget the whole country, right? This is the same thing. And we talked about some of these mass shootings, which was another one, again, the last night one, but it's almost along the line of the Civil War type stuff. But they're using the Electoral College to turn back the laws, right? So the new voting laws, right? Laws that restrict voting access. There are 19 states, right, that have come up with 33, that have actually passed 33 bills.
Wow.
to restrict voting. But check this out: laws that expand voting rights access, 25 states, and there are over 250 bills
Damn.
to expand voting rights. So when they make you think like they're winning, like they're, the gerrymandering and all of this stuff they're doing with the vote. I mean, it's still scary.
Right.
It still comes between the red states versus the blue states, and all electoral votes are mainly in the blue states because that's where the populations are, right? Because places like Utah, they got all that land, but they only got maybe 2, 3, 4 electoral votes, But that's where they're trying to rack up the electoral votes to turn stuff to overturn the popular vote. Because as we say, they keep talking about the Republicans had the highest votes in history, 70 something million, but yet they don't talk about the 84 million that the Democrats had. That's what it comes down to. And it sounds like it's going to be the red states once again versus the blue states, and like Kansas, Kansas
right.
kick back the abortion, anti-abortion thing. And Trump won that. They try to say that's a purple state, but Trump won that 14 points.
Yeah, that's a red state. It's they're minority rule. That's why they've been trying to get rid of the filibuster. Electoral college system is a relic of the past, because in the way the map is, Bob, and based on the red state, they have something like 45 million fewer vote people that they represent. So it is truly minority rule, and that's what they want to happen. And I really want to stop, Bob. I think if I hear it one more time, people say the far right. It's not the far right anymore. It's just the right. They're mainstream.
It's really
if I
wrong.
hear that one more time, far right. Did you see Ted Cruz and these guys at the CPAC? I don't think that they consider them far right. All these, and they look like the cartoon characters, but that plays there.
Basically, they are. So, Juan, let's go to our main subject that we always cover. Let's have a Biden update.
Whew. It's been pretty good. Pretty good, getting on a good run. Biden's getting on a good
week,
run.
Oh my God, no question.
Biden's getting on a good run. That shocked them.
Yeah, he took out the second leading to Bin Laden. Took that mug out.
I forgot about that. Sure did. Right.
Took him out, and then got this bill passed. Which because remember they had
the other one just passed, Bob. Actually, just passed the Senate today.
But they had people asking the question, was the country in a recession? You know what's so interesting? They don't even know. Not even the daggone top economists. They never seen nothing like this. They said we're in a recession, but yet they got 528,000 jobs. This is the highest jobs and highest job rate in years, 50 years or something like this, way above the pre-pandemic. But yet it's supposed to be a recession. Gas prices going down 7 weeks in a row, but we're supposed to be in a recession.
3.5% unemployment.
The market in July, Standard & Poor's was something like 9%. NASDAQ was something like 11, 12% in July. But yet we're supposed to be in recession, which the standard definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. And which they said, but yet here we go with all of these things that's been happening, man. I mean, the unemployment rate dropped from 3.6 to 3.5.
Right.
But yet inflation went up from 9 to 9.1%. So don't nobody know what's
the indicators are not hitting all the marks for the recession thing. So they don't know what to call it.
Because people that some people are making out. Some people made out in the market.
Right. But it is a positive thing for Biden administration getting some momentum, except for him getting COVID a couple of times. But hey, it's been a good run. I don't think I've ever seen things shut Fox News people up with when that jobs report came
Well,
out. It was stunning.
they tried to flip it again. They tried to flip it to something else.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot
they
what
did.
it
They
was.
did. They did.
They tried to flip it. It's still, and how you going to flip it to somebody at 520,000 job? You thought it was going to be 200 something thousand, and the month before was 400,000. How can you even dispute that? You know, they still sound like fools. You know, McConnell talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, and I'm so glad they changed it from the Build Back Better. That title, the Democrats are just terrible with titling stuff, man. But Inflation Reduction Act sounds so much more palatable, and they got it mixed up. McConnell
just passed the Senate today.
McConnell talk about walk up to anybody on the street and ask them, how is this going to help you? And I'm like, it's going to be lowering the prescription drugs.
That's right.
It's going to clean up clean energy tax credits. There's going to be rebates for electric cars and putting panels in your house. There's going to be rewards for cutting methane emissions. There's going to be support for fossil fuel projects, and that's the mansion that helped this behind. Support the coal miners with Blackland will help over 25,000 coal miners. Agriculture, steel ports, and more is going to help farmers. $313 billion in the corporate minimum tax that they're going to end up raising. 124 billion in enforcement increasing. The IRS now they try to come use that saying that Biden was sicking the IRS on the middle class because the IRS is undermanned, right? This is what I don't get. They saying they sicking them on the middle class, but if your butt ain't been paying taxes, guess what?
You're gonna have a problem.
You need to be paying taxes. How you think the roads and the bridges and the and the air and the water you drink is the way it is? I mean, come on, people kill me when they start talking about taxes. And on our show, Juan, we talk about taxes. People are always afraid of taxes, but man, no, you're going to have to pay taxes to get some of the services. The
Uncle Sam going to get his.
Yeah, and then they're going to be loaning prescription drugs for people. Finally, they can negotiate. With Medicare, can negotiate, man. Look, they're talking about reducing the federal deficit by $300 billion, Juan. So how can they say that this is not going to be helping people?
Right.
It's going to increase where the tax plan of 2017 of Trump raised the deficit by over $1 trillion. No. I'm sorry. Yeah. Right. Over $1 trillion. 1.5 trillion. Didn't even pay for it. It's still not even paid for. Tax cuts.
Right.
But this is all paid for. Plus, not only is this bill paid for, Juan, it's also, in addition, going to drop the federal deficit by $300 billion.
And you and I talked about that earlier. During the whole Obama administration, that's all they talked about was the deficit.
Right.
But all of a sudden, they didn't mind the deficit. They didn't talk about it. Well, Trump was running up money and the grifting. Yeah, they didn't. It was never mentioned.
And Obama lowered the deficit by $1 trillion, by the way.
Right.
Nobody talks about that.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's why we're here. We're not trying to just throw our opinions. A lot of things we give you is facts, and then you draw your own opinion. You know what I mean? And just remember, your opinion doesn't necessarily mean it's our reality.
Well, something you mentioned earlier, when the Republicans cut their nose off to spite their face, because when Democrats ran the okie doke and brought this bill back up, and I agree with you, the Inflation Reduction Act bill, very good naming. They said, well, we're going to now block the burn pits veterans bill.
Yeah.
That they had just voted 90 something to 10 and then the guys went and fist bumped on camera, the senators, like that's something great. And Jon Stewart got them, and these are veterans. You're supposed to be, we're America, the military, veterans. That's what they fly over football games. whatever that means.
Get on
And
Colin Kaepernick for taking the knee.
right. Yeah, they blocked this and fist bumped, and that turned out that was they knew that
They
hit
turned
them
that
hard.
around real quick,
Yeah,
though.
they turned right around and had to put that thing through, man, because they took some bad publicity. That's their own. Most of those veterans, most of those are their voters.
But how are you going to vote against the Inflation Reduction Act when this is the one bill for years that favors the average person,
Right,
and they trying to tell people it's not.
Right.
Going against this. They ain't doing nothing to help nobody. It's going to raise inflation.
Right.
The name of it is the Inflation Reduction Act, and some 120-something economists said that it will.
Well, the Republican Party does. First of all, they have no policies. They don't. That's not their thing. They're not
have they put any bills on? Have they passed any bills?
They do nothing. The only thing they did about tax cuts and judges. That's it. Tax cuts and judges. That's that they don't. There's nothing else, and they do more cutting. They're there to cut.
Yeah, but they do all the spending. But
Roe v. Wade, right?
They cut during the Democratic period, but then.
Question for you, then, Bob. How do you think this will help the administration now with the response in Kansas to them trying to do the abortion ban on Roe v. Wade and all of these economic numbers? And I think you had a question. Do you think this will help as we go towards the midterms and then the general election? And what was the other thing you said? Biden, will he
run?
Will he run again?
So the first thing is, theoretically, it seems like it would, but these fickle Americans, I don't even know, man, because I hear people talking about what has President Biden done, when he ain't been doing nothing. Well, he's given $5.8 billion to HBCUs. He's done so many other things, man.
Right.
He did. How about the pandemic? What was it called? The affordable. It was called what was that thing? That act? The American Rescue Act.
Yeah, American Rescue Act.
They put money in people's pockets. Did they forget that was him?
Right.
That was under him. Did they forget that? The American Rescue Plan to put money in people's pockets? Buzz got checks. And I didn't get one. But you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, though.
Stuff that he's done. They talk about what has he done. And now you can't dispute what he's doing now. So I would think that it is one. I think it's got the Republicans where in this DOJ, I looked at Trump's face the other day. He was at CPAC and standing in the back, and he had this fake smile on his face when the camera was on his face. But when the camera went off to this other person, he went back to this face. It looked like he's worried. You can't tell me he's not.
It's a little rough.
You can't tell me he is not feeling the pressure.
Letitia James, and when I say Letitia James for our viewing audience, is the Attorney General of New York. But she just deposed Trump's son, Trump Jr. and Ivana. So for hours and hours of testimony. So that's that.
And the sister in Georgia, she's on him too. She on him harder than the New York girl. The New York girl, I think, is letting her go first.
Right. But Bob, to the point that you made, I do think it's going to help them. But I hear the same thing. I hear the naysayers and the people that say, we didn't get this, we didn't get that. But I heard Sharpton say something, Reverend Sharpton say something, man, I thought was a great point. And he said, nobody gets everything they want. He said, you can go to the grocery store and won't get everything you want. So, I thought that doesn't sum it up. You're not going to get everything. Of course we want more. Of course they wanted more in the Reduction Act. But you don't drive the car. You go down the trip. You're on the way to your destination, to a vacation, to a trip, and you stop in the middle of the road and say, man, we still got an hour. I'm going to turn back. These are just crazy terms, man. We're not like that as a people. So you don't get everything you want. But just before we came on air, I heard Kwasi Mfume make a good point about people and getting them out to vote. And he said, getting people out to vote, they won't just come out and vote because of what I tell them to do it or you tell them to do it, but everybody needs to go out and tell them what you're doing for them, what you've done for them, and what you're going to do for them, and what we can do if we continue to move that way. And it's got to be clear and concise. And I think that's agreeable. You've got to tell people clearly what we've done, what you've done, just like you ran down those statistics about what's been done, what we're going to do, and then what we can do if you vote them back in.
So Juan, I posted this the other day. No one changes unless they want to. Not if you beg them, not if you shame them, not if you use reason, emotion, or tough love. There's only one thing that makes someone change, and that their own realization that they need to do it. And there's only one time it will happen, when they decide they're ready. And that's where we are right now. You can't be didn't that something I posted that the other day? No one
I like that.
changes unless they want to, man. You got at least want to, man.
You got to want to.
You know, right. and that's why they play on these people's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they try to shame them. They try to, beg them, and,
right.
and they got them, So Juan,
don't give up now. Don't stop. This is not the time to.
This ain't the time.
Sit on the sidelines.
No, but Juan.
Yes, sir. Okay.
But Juan. Yeah. Will Biden run?
He said he is, and so I'm taking that as a run. I've heard.
Oh, that's what politicians do. They talk. They say a lot.
Yeah. I hope he does because, Bob, I don't know who you're going to run right now. I don't think you stop right now. I think you go with the momentum. He did get 80 million votes. Now, can he get 80 million again? I don't think so. I mean, I doubt you can get that many out. However, I don't think that they will get 70.
Oh, they're going to get 100 million this time, Juan. Because this abortion thing is going to make even more people come out.
There you go.
But this is, under normal circumstances, I would want Joe to run.
Mm-hmm.
For one, he will be the oldest president. He'll be 85. And I'm telling you, the pressure of the presidency is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't for no old men. I'm talking about this stuff, man. They say when they do the first initial briefing of what's really going on in the world, most of us who just ran, it's just their first time, they freak out. Obama said he down there freaked out. Trump said he was speechless and this is Trump. This is Trump. What's the girl, Leslie Crawford or whatever her name was? I don't think that's her name. That's a co-worker name. But Leslie, she they see 60 Minutes.
Leslie Stahl.
She asked Trump about that. Oh, what about that briefing? The first briefing you got. He's like, he paused. He's like, I didn't say nothing for an hour.
Right.
So that's a lot for a president, man. And Joe, I mean, he barely being able to stand up on a bicycle, So, I would love for him to run because I think he's great, man. He's unifying, NATO, Europe, and even in Saudi Arabia, they were pissed because he went and fist bumped. How you gonna be mad because the mug's fist bumped with a mug, But
I think it's more about Saudi Arabia. But yes, right. Well,
but come on. I mean, you have to, in order to deal with other people, you gotta communicate with them. You cannot not communicate, even your enemies.
Yeah.
That's one way to do. You gotta, but they make it sound like no. How you going to even come to get a person over to being able to see your point of view if you don't have a discussion with them? If you're just going to stand off in your corner and far off incendiary comments and stuff, that's what people don't. No, man, that's not how you negotiate. That's not how you discuss items with people. So I'm cool with him going to Saudi Arabia. I'm
Mhm.
cool with Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan. You see, pissed off China, especially
Well,
today.
that's another topic.
I know.
I'm gonna get you on that one, but no,
Yeah.
that's good though. That's a good point. That's a
But
good
Juan,
point.
let's bring it on home to our last topic of the day because
I think he's gonna run. Him and Kamala will get a second term. Okay,
yeah,
you
I
heard it.
think
You heard it
we will.
today, August 7th, folks.
Okay. Excuse me.
Bless
So
you. Bring it on home, Bob.
okay, so let's end it with, oh man, that sun coming through my window like a mug.
Oh, I just thought you were glowing.
Well, I do have that angelic, but no. Juan, let's talk about our final subject of sports. Brittany Griner got sentenced to 9.5 years. Actually, it was 9.5 years. Um, what do you think? Is they're gonna do a swap?
I think so. I believe they've already offered somebody, but I think that Putin's gonna make them sweat, and they're gonna have to throw a couple other things in there.
Well, Juan, I'm all for Brittany coming home. Don't get me wrong. I mean, even when I was playing pro ball,
Yeah.
I even smuggled some stuff back. I ain't gonna lie. But Brittany Griner for the top arms dealer in the world. Brittany Griner.
Is that the latest guy they threw in?
No, that's the first guy that's doing 25 years. He's done 10. That's the first guy, the arms guy. The next guy they talk about now is a straight out assassin, straight out dirty, mean, nasty killer.
And somebody else is supposed to come home with Brittany too, right?
Well, yeah, Phelan, the guy named Phelan. But Juan, forgive me. I mean, I don't mean to be callous, but WNBA major arms trader. That's an even swap.
Well, I agree with you in one way. I want them to come for me if I was over there. So
let me tell you now, if you're over there, they would not be coming for your black ass.
As we've traveled the world, I'll come. Please, somebody come for me.
They'll be like, Juan who? Click.
I'll be calling you. I said, Bob, you better come back over here and get me.
Brittany Griner. Come on.
Well, look, I hope she can make it home. The one thing I say, Bob, is that it's not like she's been over there playing for a decade. They in and out, and she's a star there. She did get caught up in politics, but they have been doing this. That's the thing. She's not like.
So what's the difference, Juan?
She's caught. She did get caught up in the national intrigue and mayhem.
What is the one thing that makes this different, though? She's like, it's about 7 years, actually, I think they said she been going back.
Right. Almost a decade, right.
Almost a decade, right. Yes, I get all of that.
In and out.
And she probably been bringing stuff back the whole time, right? But what is the one thing that trumps this? Excuse the pun, Trump. What is the one thing, though, that makes this, separates her from all the other people that Russia hasn't done this to? What do you think it is?
She's a gay 6'9".
That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Her wife needs to shut up because Russia don't play that homosexuality. So that's nope, not that, not even that. The one thing that really sums us all up, Juan, that kind of puts her in a bad light. She got caught. You could talk about other people were doing it. She was doing it for decades. Yeah, but the difference between now and then, she got caught. Stop it. You got caught. So, and this is their law. How are we going to say with our laws? And we know how Russia is. They're crooked. What do you think they were going to do? What do you think they were going to do? What you doing over there anyway? You see LeBron James going over that mug? You see Marcus Smart going over that mug?
Well, they've been doing that and playing just like
for the money. Why is she going?
Right, playing ball overseas.
No, not Russia though. They go to Russia, man. You know what you up for? Russia, come on, they are our enemy.
Right. But they have had the international ball for women have been an outlet for years. Years. When we were going back 40 years,
You can't be
that's
going
where
into
women were
Russia,
playing
Juan.
before they even had a league here. Mothers were playing overseas. Women were playing overseas, Bob. You know that.
Juan,
So
that's different. No, those
no,
are countries of you can travel back and forth. They don't have nothing against us. This is Russia.
right.
This
But
is
those
Russia.
Russians that had the balls over there.
Won by Putin, a black market, the KGB. What am I missing here?
But they've had balls over there, man. They've had the
No,
balls.
no,
for
no, no,
years.
not Russia, Juan. You don't, Juan. That's just like telling me, Juan, I give you $100 million. You play in the all hell league down in hell.
Well, I think I hope she comes home. I hope they make the swap.
Well, let's wrap this up, Juan. We got another issue. I hope she comes home too.
But go ahead, Bob.
Next one, the live tour, the golf tour. Saudi Arabia funding the live tour, which is going against the PGA, and they screaming bloody murder that the live tour got blood on their hands, and Trump held the event at his Brocade
Bedminster golf place.
He needed the
Jersey
money.
Or somewhere.
He talking about, well, they haven't really come to the bottom of this. And then they assassinate the number 2 person involved with 9/11. He talking about they haven't come to the bottom. Stop it. Come on, man. So, what you think about it?
The live tour? The only reason we talked about it before. The only thing that really come up that there's a antitrust suit on now. And
who's against who?
It's several of the players that have moved to the Live Tour have a antitrust suit against the PGA Tour, and I've been here that this was coming, and this makes a difference. So it's antitrust suit, and they also so even all the rankings, rancor about this tournament and the Saudis and all that. But the real thing is this suit that's come up, and they and antitrust suits can take years. But I do think that they are going to it's going to make a difference, Bob, because what I don't understand, the PGA Tour, I don't feel sorry for them. Do you think that when the European Tour guys, their young guys, leave the European Tour to come to the PGA Tour,
right?
That wasn't, that made them feel good. I've heard the talk about that. So the PGA Tour has a monopoly. And
how about the PGA Tour when they had the White Claws where black players couldn't even play in the PGA? How about that?
Yeah, these guys want to be more like free agents, Bob, and they want to be, the whole missing the cut thing. And yes, that adds all the tour, but these guys say even guys on the bench who play in the NBA or other schools, they get paid. For coming, you get paid no matter what. And I think that they are, even though they gave Phil Mickelson grief, these types of things are coming, man. These guys are banking on being able to try and banking on trying to be able to come back and play both tours. And I think that Live Tour is going to be here because they have insurmountable money. And I think that it's going to make a difference. Right now, they're not giving them any TV coverage or anything because they're the PGA is thing. But
it's all about money.
I'd like to see it.
It's all about money. But look, Juan, we wrap it up because we're on the hour.
Yeah.
We got a comment from Garnett Nickens, who watches and one of my favorite people who always supports me and our shows.
Excellent.
Yeah, the punishment does not match the crime for Brittany Griner. I hope she comes home, but she was wrong and she has served enough time. I respect that, Garnett. And last one, Juan, let's close out with I think who's the GOAT, the greatest of all time in NBA basketball. If you want to base it purely on the one measurement, which is wins.
Straight winner, baby.
It's Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell just passed at 88 years old. He was more than just an athlete. He was a civil rights icon.
Mhm.
He stood up in the times in the 50s, man, the 60s, where it was rough, where they were killing mugs, like Medgar Evers' brother, when they killed Medgar Evers. They asked Bill Russell, could he come down and do like a basketball camp to help things in the midst of Medgar Evers being murdered.
That's right.
Clan, and he went down and did it, Juan. Sat there with Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown. So my hat's off to Bill Russell, man.
Absolutely.
They used to get on because Bill would never sign autographs. And they thought it was because he didn't want to sign autographs for the white people when he was in Boston. They want his autograph, but then they, approached him with racial comments. They broke in his house, defecated in his bed. And I thought for years
left
he
feces
would
everywhere.
autographs, but he didn't sign autographs for black, white, Hispanic, whatever, because he said he didn't believe. He said I should be taking your autograph. See, I don't should be giving you my autograph. I'm not of that nature. I'm not of that. That he didn't want that kind of esteem and credit. He wanted people to really abide by civil rights. He said, my autograph. So I misunderstood that for years. I thought he just didn't sign because of racist people in Boston. But anyway, what's your take on Bill Russell?
Bob, I'm not even going to try to go on top of that. He's a legend, basketball legend, activist, and humanitarian. Great person and consummate team player and the greatest winner in any sport.
And for the people who don't know, he won 11 championships with the Boston Celtics, 8 straight, and one he was a player coach. You know about that one. Remember when I was a player coach for 10 games?
Yeah.
That is hard to manage a team and play at the same time.
Yes. And when you have one of your teammates ready to fight you, and that's me, you guys, because Bob was coaching me. But he did a great job, you all. He did a great job.
I was 10-0.
Yeah,
I didn't lose.
Bill Russell, like, we were rolling. Yeah.
We were rolling, man. I was like Bill Russell, post Bill Russell, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But people don't understand that, and he won a championship by coaching, and he was the first. Well, this is kind of misstated.
Black
He was
head
the first
coach of any major sport.
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, in the NBA, but John McClendon was actually the first black professional basketball coach with the Cleveland Pipers. Before the NBA was called the NBA, that was
okay.
John McClendon, the mug who came up with the fast break. Check it out.
Yeah.
John McClendon.
Yeah, I saw a documentary. He's great.
One of the greatest, man, but he was the first black and won the championship too, by the way. With Cleveland Pipers, but didn't get a
great story about him.
Coach in the NBA. But Bill Russell was the first black coach in the NBA itself. So anyway, Juan, with that, want to shout out to all the people, Juan. My sister Nolia was on, my god sister Coletta Black and Isabel McRory. I always pronounce that wrong. And Isabel, if I'm right, Isabel, you overseas, and Craig Hastings, Joe Finelli, and Garnett Nickens, and your nephew, my son, Scott.
Scott.
Thanks for joining us. And Garnett said, truly a legend. Rest in peace, Mr. Russell. So thank y'all. We're here every first Sunday, of the month. Make sure you tune in at 6 p.m. First
Saturday,
First Sunday.
First Sunday of the month.
Every month, On Point Opinions. We thank you for your participation and share this with your other folks. And you out there, you can make comments and give us suggestions of other topics. But thanks for tuning in.
Bob, quickly, I want to just say I've heard a lot from all my relatives and cousins and uncles that go back or look at the show. So thank you all. I want to recognize all of you all that looked and have given us great comments and sent and are checking it out. So I want to do that. And Bob, Tell me if you recognize this, and I'll leave you with this. And where did I get this, Bob? There is no wealth without health.
Oh, that was one of our main wrap-ups of our show the other week. A financial show.
The financial show. I thought
the
that
number
was
one
a great
priority in
call,
your
man.
financial should be your health.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Juan. You've been listening. But
Yeah,
that's
the guy
true,
said there's
Juan.
no. I thought that, man. There's no wealth without health, man. That.
Yeah, we're still having a whole bunch of money and you can't enjoy it because you broke it down. You know, those are my two personal goals. When I got my family goals, but you know what my two personal goals is?
What's that?
I don't want to be old and broke, and I don't want to be old and broke up. Those are only two goals I'm working on.
Hey, those are great.
So with that, tune in.
And you're never too old for a new goal.
Hey, Juan, I like that one. I'm putting that down in my quote book for you. I'm gonna
heard that in the sermon, man. You're never too old for a new goal.
So make sure you tune in. Remember to also tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. to the Fit Show. Financial information for the day and tomorrow. Me and my man Thomas Doty are laying it down with all
another b-ball
information. You also make sure y'all check that out. On Point Opinions. Juan Hope, Bobby.
Keep your financial things in order, man. Y'all got to keep your financial things in order.
And remember, there's no finance. No, there's no romance without finance.
Ooh. On that note.
On that note, peace be with you, Juan. You know why my family didn't have a lot of money while I was growing up?
What's that, Bob?
I knew where they kept it. All right, I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good day.
But all right. Oh, that was good, Bob. Crazy. All right. Mm-hmm. Sabrina, you keep an eye on that chicken?
I enjoyed the show, especially
Sabrina, when you're ever here,
Sure.
Oh, you can always write something down and put them in front of them too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you all if I could kind of sometimes with the shows they'll have the producers talk off camera. Can I comment? Because I kept talking to the screen. I had so many things to say.
You can send in. Bob can read.
I wasn't able to on YouTube. I wasn't able. I'm not on Facebook.
But
I'll try
from YouTube, Bob, she can't send in the comments.
I haven't been able to.
Yes.
I wasn't able to before, Bob.
Why? Hey, Sabrina, how you doing?
Okay, honey.
Why were you not able to? What do you mean?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried in a while though, so I'll try.
No. You see, so it's on two places on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I have a website. Not website. A Facebook site.
Well, I'm not on Facebook. I'm watching you on YouTube.
Okay, so you can put it in YouTube. In YouTube, it comes through on my back office panel that I'm running. I'm like the producer, right, of the show, and that comes here on my.
Okay, I'll try it. Okay.
Yeah, no, all you gotta do is put it in, and it comes. It's supposed to come. Sometimes
back in the early days, I tried and it didn't come through, but I haven't tried it in a
because
while.
the early days I didn't have it hooked up right in YouTube.
Okay.
I didn't have it hooked up in YouTube.
You can send comments to Bob, yeah.
Okay.
And you can put the comments in. Yeah, you can put the comments in, but Sabrina, like you talking about how you can get producer, comments.
Yeah.
You should.
I was just going to talk
about. You should write it down. You should write it down and slide it to Juan.
Okay. I'll try.
And then
I'll yeah.
And then I can at least.
I mean, but wait a minute, hold on. Or plain and simple, Sabrina, just like you did, get Juan's attention and just tell him.
Okay.
And just how I read them all.
Okay with just saying, me talking off camera? Are you all okay with that or no? Would you rather me slip a piece?
I'll leave that to Juan.
Okay.
Because I know she had something to say because she came down here and stood and looked at me. but I couldn't. I was going to say, give me a paper. I know she had something to say.
Yeah,
I had
slip it on a
something to
piece of
say
paper.
A lot
But
of
slip it
times.
on,
You all had Dad laughing twice, so that was good. He was just laughing just now. Yeah.
but
So
put it
that
on a
was
piece of
good.
paper, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
Well,
and,
I can't.
and
You
I-
all,
And
you
you
know,
check
by
this
the
out.
time I finished writing, you all have kind of moved on.
she's a writer.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
but
just trying to
no,
write it out.
Yeah,
you
no,
all
no,
have
no,
moved
no. You
on.
don't have to write the whole thing out. Just say, put it
like
on
a
a piece
few.
of paper. Say,
Okay.
Juan, I got it. It's simple to me. This
Okay.
is I'm suggesting.
Okay. Because, like, for one of the things I wanted to say with Viktor Orban,
Yeah.
his own assistant left
Yeah.
and said that he was like the
Right.
second coming.
I forgot about that.
He was the second coming
of Hitler.
of
I meant to spend a little
think
bit more
he said
time on
Goebbels,
Orban.
who was Hitler's, who was the architect
Right.
of, I think, the final solution.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just say, I just wanted to throw that
Because
out.
Orban.
But-
By the time I've written it, you all have moved
'Cause
on to
Orban is
something
not-
else.
no,
So I
yeah.
don't think
But-
I
Now,
don't think I can
but
write it
Sabrina,
justice.
so
Orban
as
is
the
high
producer,
shit.
as the producer of this show, as the producer director of the show, what you do is slip Juan and say, I got a comment.
Okay.
And then Juan would go, hey, we got a comment from our producer. And he'll just ask you, then he just asks you right then, and you just talk from the background.
Oh, I like
Juan,
that. Okay.
like
I like
like
that.
you come, but it'll
And
sound
so
like,
if it's
and
like,
I'm gonna
if
make it like,
if
oh,
if
she's
he
coming
thinks
from
he
the
can
booth.
fit it into the flow, he will. If not, okay. that
Right. If
makes
not, he
sense.
will. But if he does, then he'll say,
Okay.
our producer would like to make a comment, and you can comment. I'm gonna say she's actually talking from the booth, from the director's booth. But that's what it'll be. And you can say, hey, but Juan will have the choice.
Okay.
Does he interject your
Mhm.
comment or he keeps moving?
Okay.
That's gonna be
Okay.
Juan's call.
That makes sense. Okay. I
If
like
he's
that.
messing
Because
with his
sometimes,
thought-
I like
good,
that.
because we do want to get it. There's a
Well, you
lot
know
of
what?
crazy folks out here,
Oh
man.
man, you know what?
Are we still on?
Yes.